Hello, and welcome to an overview of the first 4 years of our curriculum. To understand the first year's material, imagine your son or daughter or students going off to college. You've done everything you could think to do to prepare them for life. But even though they may do okay academically, they tank spiritually. They join the 70% of Christian high school seniors who ditch God when they go to college. Why would this happen? I want to challenge you that if that were to happen, it would be because of their spiritual formation. It was poorly laid. Moms, dads, teachers, right theology results in right living. Let me repeat that. Right theology results in right living. Unfortunately today, in very broad and general terms, our theology is weak. You've already heard the joke about the cat and the dog. The dog says, you pet me, you feed me, you shelter me, you love me. You must be God. The cat says, you pet me, you feed me, you shelter me, you love me. I must be God. But let me help you understand the implications of that joke a little bit more. You see, deep down inside, there is inside of a cat this line of thinking. Jesus left the Father's glory for me. He suffered for me. He died for me. He's gone back up to heaven to build a mansion for me. And he's up there interceding for me. Gee, I wonder who God lives for. He must live for me. Now Ephesians 5:1 says, be imitators of God. So if I'm supposed to imitate God and God lives for me, then I guess I'll live for me too. I'll just do it in a Christian context. I'll go to church each week, I'll attend Sunday school, I'll go to youth groups, but deep down inside, I'm doing all this for good old number one, me. It is this kind of thinking that lays a poor foundation in our Christianity. And because of it, many people are living a selfish, self-centered life in the church. You see, it's all about them. In their high school years, it was all about them. So when they go off to college, it's still going to be all about them. But now in college, the restraints will be off. And they'll choose how they want to live for themselves. Unfortunately, for 70% of Christian young people, it means going the way of the world because they seem to be having a lot more fun than keeping the rules. So how do we combat this? By getting right theology. This is what our first year's curriculum is all about. We get your students to see that, yes, Jesus died for our sins, but he did that to glorify his Father. And if Christ's death was primarily about glorifying the Father, that changes everything in life. All of a sudden, it's not about God lives to bless me, but rather, I live to bless God. It's not God lives to make me famous, but rather, I live to make God famous. It's not, I worship God for what he's done for me, but rather, I worship God for who he is. It's no longer pursuing a feel-good theology, but rather pursuing an obedience-based theology. We no longer focus on God thinks the world of me, rather, I think the world of God. It's no longer the idea that God is a means to an end, but rather, God is the end. He is my life. With this type of thinking, your students can have such a solid foundation that nothing can shake them from walking with God. To accomplish this, we have Year 1's workbook, and we use the books Cat and Dog Theology and Cat and Dog Prayer. We also have Bible studies which parallel everything they're learning from those two books. We also begin our Chris and Sarah stories where, starting right off in the church, we begin to see how cat theology can manifest itself in their friends, in the youth group, even among each other. Please, if you do anything, get your students to go through Year 1. It is life-changing, not only for your students, but if you take it, for you as well.